Hello, viewer. What's up? Sorry for my mic's a bit loud, by the way. I'll lower the volume now. Say something in chat, please. It would be very handy if you could do that. Oh, concurrent viewer just left. Well, that's a shame. That's a real shame, you know. Alright guys, we're gonna get started anyway, and people can join in and I can always just tell them. So, I'm gonna be showing you guys my login system that I designed for Python that can be used for anything really. I'm using Atom, it's a text editor, and yes, so let's just check once more that we don't have any views whatsoever. Great. Just split. That's marvelous, guys. Thanks. No, it's fine, guys. I mean, we have 113 subs, but maybe they don't see the notification. Okay, we're gonna get started anyway, because this can be viewed as a video, because a stream can be viewed as a video. So let's go through this together then, and any questions, if one of you people decide to see that I am live, any questions, you can always ask. Blobby Turtle, is that dodgy pasta guy still here? That dodgy pasta guy is my friend that helps me out at the channel, actually. He was just asking you a question about how you found out about MTM Gaming. He's not any scammer, don't worry. Oh gosh, that dodgy pasta guy. I'm gonna send it to him now as a photo. Yeah, he can't be here on the stream today. Anyway, let us get started, and you can ask, now that we've actually got a viewer, you can ask any questions and I will respond to them for you. Tell him I say yo. Alright, yeah, I'll tell him. So, do you like Python? Do you code Python? Have you ever coded it before? It's quite fun. It's fine if you haven't, I can explain it quickly. No, you don't. Alright. So you don't know about the syntax. Okay, so we're gonna make a new file on this text editor. This is called Atom. It's a free text editor, and you can make Java files, you can make Python files, you can make anything. So what you want to do first is new file. Then you want to save this file as a Python file because we want to code Python. And once we've done that, then it's good. mtmtech.py is the extension, and there we go. Now we can do import and it will come up as blue. So that's the test. The chat takes a little while to register. Yes, I've seen that before. The delay is quite bad in chat. Yeah, but I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I have my phone with the chat quite close to me so I can see. Alright, so then I'll take you through the Python basics first. So first of all, you want to know about there's four things really. There's integers, which are, well, not hashtag input, hashtag int. Okay, these are numbers. So 45 is an integer, 64 is an integer, 999 is an integer. They're all integers. Then we have a float, which is an integer but with a decimal place. So 11.1, 22.7, something like that. That is called a float because it has a decimal point. Then we have a string. And a string is a word or integer or float or anything inside inverted commas. So you'd think that that would be an integer, but it's an integer inside inverted commas, so it's a string. And this would be a float, but it's inside inverted commas, so that would be a string. A string is also something just inside inverted commas. And then we have bool or boolean. And boolean is outputs true or false. True and false. Okay, my spelling is very bad. So do you get it so far? And this can be associated with 1 and 0, like binary. Those are the 4 main data types. Now we can get into outputting a command. So, yeah, outputting something. So, the first one you want to know is print. Okay, you're with me so far, it's good. Print displays something on the screen. So, I can put hello world. You know what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to run idle Python because I can actually run the script. The only reason why I was using Atom is because it looks nicer. Let me just open the file that I made in downloads, empty tech. Okay. So print. When you print something, you can either print without inverted commas or with, and you can use 1 inverted comma or 2, it doesn't matter. If you're gonna print without inverted commas, you're usually gonna print something like maths or a maths sum or a variable, and variables we'll get into later. But normally when you print something, you'll say hello, my name is MTM. Now you can save this file and you can run it and it will output hello, my name is MTM. Simple. Easy, I just made a program. Now we're going to learn about variables. So let's make the variable hello. Hello, we've got to define hello. What is hello? Hello is nothing at the moment. It's still nothing. Hello can either be a list of things, so in square brackets, I can have M, then everything is separated by a comma. So I could have M, T, and M. And then I can print hello. So remember what I talked about when I said you can print without inverted commas. Well, this is where you'd print without inverted commas. So I can print the hello variable, and it should print MT and M as separate letters. Let's give it a try. M, T, and M. It prints the variable. There we go. Now you can also make a variable with normal brackets, and that is normally for a string. So you can use numbers like 3, or you can use letters, but if you're going to use letters, then you're going to have to use inverted commas. But you can do maths in variables. So you could do 3 times 3. I'm not sure if this will run or not. I have no clue. Okay, it does. And Python has converted our 3 times 3 on hello variable into 9, and then it's printed out 9 here. It's easy, alright? Now, we're going to make a calculator, okay? So using input. What is input? Well, it asks the user for an input of some sort, whether it's a number, a letter, or a special character. So I'm going to put in number 1 equals input So what we've just done is number 1 is a variable. What does it equal? It equals a user input, and then the prompt is to say, please enter a number. So now an input is like print. It will print everything in these inverted commas, but it now assigns that input that you put in to number 1, the variable. So now if we do that and then we do print and then number 1, save the file and run it, we can now enter a number, so 456, and it will print 456 because number 1 is stored as 456. I've got to go, but we'll definitely watch the replay. Keep up, great. Alright, thank you. So that is the basics of input. Now you can do number 1 equals input. So I just deleted that. So number 1 equals input. Now, how do we tell if they've entered a letter? Because if we want to make our own calculator and they enter a letter, it wouldn't make sense, would it? So we would do an if command. If, okay, so if number 1 equals, so we're comparing it with something. If number 1 equals string, we don't want it to be a string, we want it to be an integer. So if number 1 equals string, then colon, because we always end if commands in colon, then it will make an indent for us. If that equals string, say invalid input. So now we can print invalid input. Do you guys get it? Now we've got to finish the if command with an else command. So else, so the if command is only if number 1 is a string, print invalid input. Else, so any other thing, whether it's a float or a number, else print okay, your first number is, and then we can also print strings and variables in one sentence. So we can say, okay, your first number is, and then number 1. That will print your first number is, whatever the input is. Then we can save it, press F5 to run. It says, please enter a number. So we can enter 45. Okay, your first number is 45. But what if we press run and we enter a letter? YT. Your first number is YT. So our program doesn't work. That's a bit humiliating. So we need to now enter integer, then this. What this does is it only accepts an integer input, or it converts a string input into an integer input. So if you enter a string, it will not accept it. So now let's try it. Invalid literal for integer with base 10. Please enter a number. Why is this happening? Okay, but no one is going to be that stupid. So let's just erase this if statement. Let's completely eradicate this. So, and just have it print, okay, your first number is this. That's our first number of a calculator. That's our first input. Now we need now we need something that says, okay, what are you going to do with this number? You're going to times it, divide, multiply, subtract. So we need to go operator 1 equals input. And then we need to ask the user, please enter times, divide, plus or minus. And then they enter plus or minus. Easy, done, simple. Now we need to just get rid of, actually no, we can leave the integer there. Or 1 equals input, enter this number. Okay, so now op1 has its own thing. We've defined op1 as the input. Please enter the thing. Now we need something called an if statement. If op1, so that's our input, equals, actually equals means comparing it. If op1 equals times, so we need that there because what input does is it converts everything to a string unless told otherwise. Then we need a colon. Then we need... Oh, actually, you know what I've just thought of? It would be easier if you enter your second number and then the operator, because then we wouldn't have to do some stuff. So let's enter number 2 equals input. Please, we need an integer first. Int, please enter your second number. And I forgot to put quotation marks. So now number 2 is defined, okay? Now we need the op1. First we need to put a print command that says print, okay, your second number is, and then number 2. Remember to always have that comma if you're going to do this. Now we can work on the operator thing. If op1 equals times or asterisk, then what are we going to do? We're going to times number 1 by number 2. So, how to do this? We can use the print command, easy peasy. We can print number 1. Actually, not in inverted commas, guys. We can print number 1. Then op1. Number 1, then op1, and then number 2. Now, I'm not sure if this syntax is correct because I'm not a Python genius, so let's try it out. First, we have to remove this integer because it's messing with our Python program. You don't have to have that integer there, by the way, that was just from earlier. Print, invalid syntax. Why is there invalid syntax on my print? What is the matter with my print? This is bizarre. Let me try again. Invalid syntax again? What does it mean, invalid syntax? It's fine. The syntax is fine. I don't understand. I don't understand. Let me cut it and paste it. Why is print? Okay. Anyway. You see the basics, okay? So now we can go to my login system, which does not use maths, but it uses ifs and elses. Okay. So you see here, it imports random. Random is useful, alright? Now, the reason I imported random was because I'm going to implement this into a random number generator that I coded. I have not got that script with me at the moment, but it's useful. And import time. Import time is useful to make it aesthetically pleasing, or just satisfying to run. You'll see in a second. Then we have names. Names is a list, because it's got square brackets. Nothing in it. This is what I call a temporary variable, and you'll see why. So, it's always important to comment on your work. Use a hashtag to do this. So, my hashtag says, asks user if they are new or not to the program. So new is a variable, equals an input. Are you a new user? Enter Y for yes or no, N for no. If new, which is your input there, equals Y, which is for yes, then they are a new user. So time.sleep, this just puts the program to sleep for a second, so everything doesn't come blurting at you at the screen. You have a chance to read. Then, because you're a new user, you don't have a username. So let's make a new variable here. New USR equals input. Please enter your new username. So now new USR is going to be equal to your new username. Now we have a print here, just that prints nothing but leaves it returns, so you have a fresh new line. Now we time.sleep again because we want the program to be nice. Then it prints hello and new USR, because new USR is your input, is your username. So it says hello new USR. We are adding your name to the user list. Now the user list is a users.txt file. And as you can see, it's blank here. This is a file that stores all of the usernames of all of the users on this program. So if you're going to use this login system, I suggest making a file folder and keeping the users.txt in there. So how does this relate to our program? Well, first it says hello new USR. We are adding your name. Then names, okay? Names is a variable. It's a list. Names.append. So names, we're calling upon the variable of names here. Then we're appending something to the list. Append is a command where you can add something to a list. And then we are appending new USR. So whatever variable new USR is, which is the username, it will then add this to the names list. Now we open the users.txt file from our desktop, which I just showed you is here. We open that as FP. FP is just a random letter combination. I just made it for ease of use. So now when we press FP, FP is users.txt. fp.write %s/n %item. As you can see, I've commented my work here. It writes each item on a new line, so it doesn't make it one continuous word, otherwise the program would not work. So it writes the item into the names file. For item in names, item is a new variable now. For the item in names, so whatever item /s is in names, it will then write it into the file. So it will write item into the file. /n and %s is to leave a space and a return so that the file doesn't get bunched up. And then once it's done that, it'll print done. Now it's created a new login for the user. Okay, so now we get on to else if. It's an extension of if, where you can add, if you want to add like multiple inputs, y, n, q, p, s, whatever. You can add as many elifs as you want. So else if, let's just call it, new, which is our input at the top, yes or no, equals no, they're not a new user, then they'll bring them to the login page, which is down here. And then else, it's an invalid input. So if they input a letter like P, when it's only asked for Y or N, it will close the program. So we can see this with print invalid input, closing the program, and then exit 2 brackets. It will just exit the program. So now, once you've done all of this rigmarole to add a new user, let's just minimize this little bit so we can focus on this. Main login page is what I've called this, because it is. It'll print a new line, then it'll print hello, please log in with your username. So that username can either be one that you just created or one that you have created in the past. login is a new variable. The login is assigned as an input, and then this is just an arrow to show where you have to input your username into. Login is a variable. So now we have an if statement. If login, which is the variable, if login is in open users.txt dot read colon print user successfully logged in as login. I will explain this now. So what this is saying is, if your input here is in the file of users.txt, it will read the file of users.txt and scan for what you've entered and see if that's a word. If it exists in users.txt, it will print you successfully logged in as, and then your login input, which is your username, and time.sleep. Else, invalid login, closing the program to prevent hacker. Yes, so I don't really have a solution here, so I just said invalid login, closing the program. Yes, you can loop this round, but I'm not going to do it for simplicity. So now we can save the file. Remember to always save your file, save your work, and we can see what it does, what it outputs. So let's open the file in IDLE Python. Open. We go to our desktop, and then we can go down to our login system.py. This will bring it up in the main Python, and as you can see, it's much more colorful. Now we can press run. Okay, so are you a new user? Enter Y for yes or N for no. As I said, it outputs that. So I'm going to put no. I'm not a new user. Okay, bringing you to the login. Please log in with your username. You see, we've made a mess up here because I entered no and I should have entered yes. That's my bad, my bad. I'm a new user, yes. Please enter your new username. Okay, so mtm space tech. Hello mtm tech, we're adding your name to the user list. Done. Please log in with your username. And if we enter mtm tech again, it says you've successfully logged in as mtm tech. Then the program closes because there's no text after that. There's no Python text after that. If we now close the Python shell and open users.txt again, we see that mtm tech has appeared into the file and is now one of the logins. But if you think about this, wouldn't it keep on writing to the end of the word like this? Meaning that it would only search for one word and not many. That's what you think. But let's try this out. So let's press F5 to run. Yes, I'm a new user. mtm tech. Please log in. mtm tech. Done. Okay, that's one. Now let's run it again to see if it still works with two users. Yes, I'm a new user. mtm gaming. Now we can enter mtm gaming into the file and it says successfully logged in as mtm gaming. Great, so it works, everything works. Users.txt. But we're into a bit of a pickle here. It is only replacing the first line of code, the first line of logins in users.txt. Why is it doing this? I do not know, but I'll have to troubleshoot later. So as we get to the end of this video, what have we learned today? Let's go over what we've learned. We've learned what an input is. We've learned what an import is. We import from a library. We've learned what a list and a variable is. We've learned what an if, elif, and else statement is. We've learned how to print something. We've learned how to make the program sleep for a while. And we've learned how to write code or write text to a text file. So everything works great, guys. But for the final test, let's see if we can log in with an existing login already. So no, I'm not a new user. So let's put mtm gaming in and it remembers us. we are now logged in as NTM Gaming, and I didn't have to make a new user. I will tweak this code and maybe make a new video on it, explaining how to not make it overwrite the first line of text, but that's for another video. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching the video. If you watched the live stream, thank you. No one has been watching the video. We've had only like one concurrent viewer at a time. But if you've watched this as a replay of the stream, then thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, share to your friends, and I'll see you in the next